Okay, they're breaking the LA Chargers record. So looking at the Chargers, they got a new OC. They got Kellen Moore, which I don't think anybody's talking about. Their roster, they look really talented. Their skill position, their players are good. Guys like Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. Their offensive line looks at least all right. At least their left side does. Their defense looks great though. They have Bosa, Khalil Mack, Kendricks, which I totally forgot they signed. Day, which should make a furious front seven. Back end, they still have Sante Samuel, who was good as a rookie, and J.C. Jackson maybe he rebounds, and Derwin James. Honestly, the roster looks really talented, but that's pretty much the same thing we said last year, and we know how that turned out. So you have your Week 1 game versus the Dolphins. Dolphins. Last year they played the Chargers defense pretty much shut down Mike McDaniel's offense. I don't see that happening again. The Dolphins, they still have Tyreek Hill, Waddle. I think McDaniel's gonna put a newer offense that's gonna solve the same Chargers defense. And I think Kellen Moore being new, the offense is gonna struggle a little bit. So I'm gonna take the Dolphins here. And then you have Week 2 versus the Titans. Titans, their offense, other than Derrick Henry, is really underwhelming. Even like coming back, Chargers defense should be able to slow down the Titans. And the Titans defense, they're still talented. They still have players like Jeffrey Simmons, but they lost a few pieces. They're still talented, but I still see the Chargers being able to blow through it. So I'm taking the Chargers. And then you have them versus Minnesota. Minnesota, they did lose a lot of pieces. Their defense, is not talented. They didn't really improve as much as I wanted for the Vikings. And the Vikings offense can definitely cause a problem though. They also have Justin Jefferson. They just cut Cook, so but I do like Madison. I think Madison will handle the duties good. Chargers offense I think will do great, but Minnesota does have the home field advantage. So I'm gonna give it to the Vikings here. And you have them against the Raiders. Not sure who the Raiders quarterback is going to be. I'm still sold that it's going to be on Garoppolo is going to be starting. But the Raiders, I don't think they're all that good. Their defense really didn't improve. I do not like their coach whatsoever, McDaniel. I don't think he's a good coach. I'm going to take the Chargers here. Then you have them versus the Cowboys. Chargers are coming off a bye, and they do have home field advantage. The Cowboys, another very talented team. Their offense of Dak, CD, Pollard, I think will cause a middle problem for that Chargers defense. But if the Chargers defense plays up to their full potential, I think they're going to be a top unit. While the Chargers offense, Cowboys have a furious pass rush, but I do think the Chargers will get the win on Monday nighter in Chargers. In LA, I'm gonna take the Chargers here. Then you have them versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs, another great team. Chiefs, even though they did lose a skill position player, they still have Mahomes, they still have Kelsey, who does well versus the Chargers. Chiefs defense is not great, but it's not bad. It's like a not a top 10 but a top 15 unit. Chargers always give the Chiefs trouble. Their defense, I think, is one that can stop if they still can stop Mahomes and Kelsey if they stay healthy. And the Chargers offense, for some reason, the Chiefs defense struggle against them. So I'm gonna take the Chargers here winning the first game. And you have them versus the Bears. The Bears, Justin Fields can definitely cause problems. That's for sure. I'm not sure if the Chargers defense will be able to contain Justin Fields or not. So the Bears offense, I think, will be a problem. But the Bears defense, I don't think is good enough to stop a veteran quarterback like Justin Herbert. So I'm gonna take the Chargers here. And you have a game versus the Jets. Jets, their defense is still very good. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets offense do have a few skill position players. Aaron Rodgers is an experienced quarterback, but I think the talent-wise, the Chargers are better than the Jets. But it's a Monday night, and Jets have home field advantage. They have a big home field advantage, so I'm gonna take the Jets here. Then you have them versus the Lions. Lions are coming off their bye. They have an explosive offense. I think that even though the Lions defense, they did improve, but I don't think they're good enough to contain it. So I expect a duel here. And Lions are coming off a bye. I like their offense. I really like it. I think the Lions are going to do good. I'm going to take the Lions. Then you have them versus the Packers. Packers, first of all, have home field advantages. Is in probably November-ish, so I'm not sure if it's going to be cold yet. Jordan Love, I don't know. I think he's going to do at least all right. But the Packers offense, I don't think there's anything that will go off. I think the Chargers defense will be easily able to contain the Packers offense. The Packers defense, on the other hand, is good. They have tons of pieces like Jair Alexander, Kenny Clark. They have Not sure what happened to their safeties, but I think they kept the same safeties from last year, which are decent. So I'm gonna take the Chargers here. And then you have them versus the Ravens. Ravens. Lamar Jackson can be a problem if he's still healthy. That's a big if. But I think for some reason the last time they played the Ravens, I think absolutely demolished the Chargers. The Chargers do have a bit home field advantage based on geography, not their fans. But the Ravens, I think their defense is going to be too much for Herbert to overcome. So I'm going to take the Ravens here. Then you have the Patriots, another defensive team. Patriots defense, I think, will do good against the Chargers offense, especially with the home field advantage. But I do not trust the Patriots offense whatsoever, so I'm going to take the Chargers here. Then you have a game versus the Broncos. Broncos, a tough opponent. I think their defense will take a step back, and I think Herbert will do good against the Broncos. Broncos offense may be a problem, but they're too unproven, and Chargers have home field advantage, so I'm taking Chargers. Them versus the Chargers, the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders is a Thursday nighter, and the Raiders still have home field advantage, but I don't think that will matter too much. I don't like the Raiders defense whatsoever, and the Chargers offense I don't think is good, so I'm gonna take the Chargers. Okay, then you have them versus the Raiders. So Raiders is a Thursday nighter. They have home field advantage, but I don't think the Raiders team is all that good. As long as I think Chargers defense is good enough to contain Davante Adams and Josh Jacobs, and without those two, I don't think the Raiders are all that special. And I don't like the Raiders defense, and I'm gonna take the Chargers here. Then you have them versus the Bills. So Chargers they play on Saturday. The Bills are another very talented team. Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, I think will cause problems, and will have a very good game. But I think I don't think the Bills also have a very good defense. So I think this is another underrated matchup, and I'm gonna take the Chargers because they have home field advantage. And then you have a game against the Broncos. I don't think the Broncos or the Chargers are good enough to sweep the Broncos, especially Broncos with home field advantage. So I'm gonna take the Broncos here. And similarly, at the Chiefs, at the Chargers winning the first game, the Chiefs are not gonna let Chargers sweep them. I'm gonna take the Chiefs here. So in the end, the Chargers going 10-7, 14 in the division, 5-4 at home, and 5-3 away.